Data is value, basically, at the moment. It's resource.
Apex it's an umbrella under which all data is stored.
Data lake is very cool and so on, but quite often it becomes a data swamp.
We have users which are even the board members.
Welcome to Raiffeisen Tech Podcast created by the employees of Raiffeisen Tech Poland to share our stories, case studies, experience, and to show what we do. If you like it, subscribe and stay up to date with our episodes. Our guests today are Marek, responsible for the technical development of the platform, and Jacek, Cieślak, who is in charge of service management and user support for the Apex platform. Jacek, Apex Service Manager at Raiffeisen Tech, specializes in cloud, big data, and automation. He works with Hadoop and AWS, supporting DevOps and data teams on projects like Data Lake and stream processing. In his free time, he enjoys mountain hiking and listening to audiobooks, especially science fiction category. Robert is an Apex engineer at Raiffeisen Tech with 8 years experience in big data, software engineering, and cloud technologies. He currently works as a DevOps engineer, focusing on cloud solutions for the Apex platform. Personally, he is interested in watchmaking and the Japanese language. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, hello.
Hey.
In the context of the service we provide at Raiffeisen Tech for the RBI Group, today we talk a lot about data products, a product-oriented approach to data, where data is no longer just a byproduct of projects, but a real product supporting business analytics and the development of new services. However, this approach involves much more than just technology. It requires the right platforms, standards, governance, automation, as well as support for the teams that use the data. And that is exactly what we will discuss today in the context of data product delivery service at Raiffeisen Tech and the Apex platform, which supports RBI teams in building and developing data products. In today's episode, we will discuss topics such as RBI's shift to treating data as products that drive business and innovation, how the Apex platform enables self-service, automation, and faster data product delivery, the role of governance and secure data sharing in effective team collaboration, and the importance of service management in user support and collaboration with engineering.
Okay then, so let's start it. Why is RBI increasingly focusing on data products today, and what does this really change for the organization? Data is value, basically, at the moment. It's resource, I would say. Similar to coal or oil to some degree, and especially in the banking industry, I guess it's literally money sometimes. It's quite often actually directly related to money. So I cannot imagine at the moment organization at this scale that is not focusing on the data.
I would fully agree with Robert. I think information is the most important right now, and especially it needs to be high quality information. So we need to make these diamonds from like coal or rough diamond and polish it to highest quality, and after that it could be provided as a great product.
Actually, I love this analogy. Yeah, this is kind of good analogy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And before we go further to the rest of the questions, we say Apex or Apex?
It's a secret.
Oh, okay.
But in reality, I think Apex is the most... this is kind of difficult because it's analytic platform experience, right? So it should be technically said Apex, but I think we are really like the logo and the double meaning of Apex is kind of...
I think also because double meaning Apex means the peak. And that's why also I think we pronounce it as Apex, not Apex.
Yeah, also with the releases of the new versions of the platform, we are kind of jokingly naming them after the
some it's like K2 and so on and so on.
Okay, so let's go with Apex. And what exactly is Apex and what problem was this platform designed to solve with the RBI Group?
I think the main goal of Apex is one platform. It's an umbrella under which all data is stored and is easy to access by all the, let's say, stakeholders, users, network banks, and provides one place to compute, one place to share, and basically and one place to maintain. So you don't need a lot as before. You had to, everything was separated and upkeeping everything took a lot of time and a lot of money. And right now, I think efficiency, cost saving, but accessibility, I think, is one of the biggest benefits. And also data discovery, which is, I think, right now in the current time, getting the right information as fast as possible is the most important thing, I think.
Yeah, in the project statement from Apex, I believe it is basically to be the standard platform and replace the workspace and data lake solution. So it's, I would say it's evolution of that process.
Basically, we are joking behind that one place to find them, one place to
bind them,
rule them, and place to bind them all.
Yeah, kind of.
Yes, so I think Apex is our Lord of the Rings
What the one
analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, you mentioned data lake. Why did we start moving away from the traditional data lake model to the self-service approach to data products?
Data lake existed before I joined the organization, but from my personal experience, data lake is very cool and so on, but quite often it becomes a data swamp, I would say. Here in Raiffeisen, it was not that bad, as I know. But managing a data lake in the form that it existed was kind of complicated in the regard that, for example, data discovery was kind of possible mostly through the documentation. Creating new flows required deployment to EMR, to the Airflow, if I remember correctly, and was basic kind of cumbersome and required a lot of manual labor. So idea behind moving to the Apex is to provide some integrated experience. Specifically also to integrate compute layer with the data layer to some degree. We have everything within one platform, which is also kind of easier from the compliance perspective, I believe. This is at least how I see it. Because it's a little bit easier to have everything in one place and to manage that in one place than to have multiple moving parts within even one cloud platform. It's still multiple moving parts that users need directly use.
And what does this mean in day-to-day work? I mean, how does Apex practically support the development of data products with RBI Group?
I think that Apex as a whole, because there are multiple teams like service managers or colleagues in DevOps, we support them either through requests or their needs, which we try to satisfy. But we also support them through, let's say, developing features that they require for specific actions that in the end they could achieve their planned goal. So it's and also I would say through the innovation and technology, right? Because our platform is one thing, it's growing, but it's also growing through new technology that is coming constantly, like, for example, AI, but I think new iterations of different kinds of technologies. For example, one example is Lineage that enables data, I would say, trackability, and I think that's the one of the key things that it provides.
I would say from the end user perspective, it's basically a difference between reading documentation and understanding very complicated process within the organization and just getting a link, opening it and seeing UI on which you see, okay, this is my data, this is my workspace, this is my compute, I can experiment with the data, I can do maybe not whatever I want, but I can basically play with what I have.
So it's easier than
Yes.
used to be.
Cognitively, I would say it's much easier for the average human being, I would say. But of course, data engineers are also human beings.
Yeah, I think because there is no separation, everything is in one place. You can quickly reach it, touch the data, share the data with other teams or other projects, and build your pipelines for transformation of the data, or even either pull the data from different sources or export the data. So you only have one place to, let's say, maintain it or provide the action, right? But if you had everything would be separated, you would really coordination, let's say, some time ago was really tedious, and it took way more time and way more coordination to get things going. And right now, this is not a problem. Right now, problem is maybe how much you want to achieve in what time, and yeah.
And you mentioned the sharing data between teams. How does it look like?
Basically, for the moment, if somebody wants to share some kind of data, either a database or data, let's say data chunk, they need to request to us, to service managers, what they want to share with what team, what kind of use case or business case. And then, of course, after proper approvals are gathered, this can be done, and we enable the data sharing. And once this is processed, it's fairly, I would say right now, a quick process, and which later on will be self-serviced. So basically, in the near future, it's planned that data workspace owners or data owners, even they can be able to enable this on their own and share the data even in a quicker manner. I would say still semi-automatic, but less governance from support teams like us, service managers. Yeah.
And still regarding these data teams, what speeds up their work the most? Thanks to the Apex.
I think at the moment that we innovate the processes, like I mentioned, self-service. But before, I would say a lot of things were done more manually. Things like deployments of new code or deployment of new infrastructure or any kind of parts to satisfy the need of the project. There were too many steps to have something done. Right now, we are reducing the manual actions to minimum, and because of this, the speed of deployment is getting faster and faster, and that's why our platform is growing really rapidly, and we already have quite a lot of users, and so I think in the future we'll break next barriers for sure.
The delay between the idea and the first prototype is very much reduced, also because as everything is integrated, rapid prototyping is kind of more available to the data engineers. I would say this is also additional benefit of that.
And maybe one thing, and also providing environments for developers. Before, I think it took too much time. And right now, enabling projects, starting like prototyping, development, testing, all the phases until they reach production, it can be really fast. Basically, all the environments, if there's a need, those can be deployed in the same time. But of course, what is the need? This is the key factor, right? If they know what they want, they have everything planned, then we can provide it for sure.
Mm-hmm. And technology is one thing, but it is equally important that users know how to use it effectively. And this is where the role of service management comes in. Mm-hmm. And what does the daily work of service management look like with Apex?
Basically, what we do, we talk to our users, we receive requests, we answer a lot of questions, of course. We have our special channels from which users can post specific questions or regarding the platform, regarding what they do or kind of blockers, or like you said before, regarding onboarding or regarding data sharing or creating an environment. Those are typical actions that we respond to those kind of requests. But also, as we are the frontline, we respond to incidents, any kind of problem tickets or any kind of issues, basically, right? So we are the first line. We action them and troubleshoot. We coordinate what is, if the outcome is real problem or maybe it's a bug. And then we need to coordinate with our colleagues from DevOps team. Then we provide them additional work to do so they are not bored and they prepare a fix. And then after the fix is, of course, tested, etc., it's deployed. And then we again verify whether this is correct, everything working fine. We communicate constantly with our users. So I think one of the key factors here for us is communication between multiple, let's say, sides, support teams, users, business sides, and sometimes even really high-level people in the organization, because we have this kind of cases that we have users which are even the board members, which we are proud of. So we talk to different kind of people and from different kind of areas of expertise.
Regarding the communication, how do you help teams that are just starting to work with the platform or not sure what they really need?
So basically, when a team or a project is thinking about coming to Apex, we provide information that first they need to get familiarized with documentation, but of course, we set up analysis meeting. So what are their needs? What would they like to have on the platform? And what is basically their end goal, right? Because they want to do something, they want to achieve some results. And we advise them, okay, what kind of infrastructure is required? What kind of processing is required? What kind of data type you will be processing? And from where data is coming? Where is it going? There's a lot of things. So after analysis is done, we are aware of what should be provided for them. And a lot of requests will be created during this phase. And of course, after proper approvals, etc., we proceed with providing them this part. But in meanwhile, they have to go through trainings like Databricks Academy or our own Apex training. We have our trainers, we have online training, and also we have our demo environments so they can play around before even get their hands wet or feet wet and try it and then, of course, choose the Apex because this is the right way. And then we provide them in the environments. Basically, then they can start working.
Mm-hmm. And after this onboarding, having this all things explained, what makes user actually able to deliver their data products more efficiently thanks to Apex?
Well, multiple factors are within that statement, I would say. So, first of all, integrated data layer with compute layer really allows for rapid prototyping and creating of data products that can be much more integrated at the beginning, even, I would say. Especially, I would say the discoverability and being able to see what data is available to me really helps with the cognition of the possibilities, I would call it like that. Because as a human being, of course, I can open the documentation, I can check and so on, but it's just much easier for us to open some graphic interface and see, okay, this is what I have. I can look into the data, I can look into the metadata of that data and start to consider my options. So, especially with the recent release that allows the Unity catalog, it's really, really much easier to integrate data from multiple sources. because previously we had the separation. Now we are moving to the direction when we are not even kind of doing the distinction between the sources of the data. So from the perspective of data engineer, he opens the catalog, he or she sees the available data and doesn't need to really think about where it comes from, at least at the beginning. Because of course the details are usually the most important. But when they are thinking about what we can do with what we have, the step of what we have is already within the Unity catalog, basically within the Apex platform, which really is stimulating the creativity, I would say, of the engineer. So from the engineering perspective, it really makes it much more easier to be creative as a
Mm-hmm. So now you mentioned data accessibility as like the advantage of Apex, right? Jacek, you mentioned the support of service management. So I understand these are the strengths of being with Apex, right?
I think, yes, maybe to put it together, it provides efficiency, because once you have those two things, you can do something faster, right? Without communication, without service management, I would say our projects would be lost, or maybe it would be hard for them to figure out how to move forward, right? Mm-hmm. We are the ones that are connecting multiple sides of the picture and making it whole and making everybody understand where we stand and figure out how we can move forward. Sometimes it can be difficult because maybe the needs are not possible at the moment. Then we need to figure out how, if it's not possible now, maybe how it should be done differently, or maybe something new needs to be prepared that is not existing anymore yet, and then we can move forward. Or multiple, I would say, things are in the way or can be in the way, but
I would add actually more visual example, let's say, or more concrete example, because previously we are talking about data discoverability and so on, but I think the practical example would be actually the best here, because previously you need to check documentation, you need to write some code that could be pushed into the Airflow, you need to execute that and wait for the results. Right now, as a big data developer, you open your workspace, you immediately know which data is available to you, and you can prototype by starting the Jupyter notebook and connecting it to the available cluster. And with that, you can do simple SQL queries. You don't need to push the whole code and wait until the whole AMR cluster starts and computes everything. You can do simple snippets of code just to check some small things that you are interested in, or just want to check how it would look like, or to find some problems with data maybe, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm. What does the collaboration between service management and engineering look like in the development of Apex?
It's constant.
It's constant, yes. But you said engineering. Engineering can mean double things, because Robert is an engineer. He's a DevOps engineer, but we have also data engineers. Mm-hmm. So there are two different things, and our cooperation is, like Robert said, constant. We need each other because we, as the frontline, need to understand the need and the goal of the users of the project. And when we have this, we then can go to our colleagues to provide them the proper feedback, right? The information, even which was not really technical, we can, let's say, translate it in a technical way, what actually is required, right? Because users can be very vague, because we are living in multiple worlds. We are more open, more easy to talk to. And I think IT people are like lawyers. They have their own language, which analysts or business people might not understand. And this is where we come. We have to be able to talk to all and then give the feedback to our colleagues. Sometimes we need their feedback actually to move forward, because we are not sure. We are not in service managers have vast experience and expertise, either from network side, from big data, from automation, even from AI. But we are not experts in data engineering or networking or DevOps. We know some things, and that because of this, we can really easily talk to each other, but we cannot do the same things. We could, but it would take really long for us to achieve it. But because of this, we can quickly coordinate and tell our colleagues, listen, this needs to be done like this and this. There are their needs. These are the goals, and the results should be like this. What do you think? What should we do on your side? What do we need to do on networking side? And then the collaboration, brainstorming happens, and then we know what kind of steps need to be taken. And after that, basically, we move forward, right? And we strive to the goal, right? And we get there faster because of this. If this was not there, then basically, maybe users would be running like chicken without a head and bouncing on the walls and trying to ask anybody how can this be done, right? But because we have this kind of collaboration, we generate a lot of value and provide basically in the end the success, right? In quite fast and efficient manner. And I think that's why we have really nice scores. I think our users are really happy how we work, and we provide our service, right? Because we try to be as much helpful as possible, but sometimes maybe we can say we are too helpful even.
To some degree. I would add emphasis on actually how SM team, at least with the cooperation with the DevOps engineering team, the service management team is actually kind of necessary translator, because quite often we are using very specific terms within the platform. And sometimes I dealt with the end users, and there was really clear miscommunication, because right now it works slightly differently, but in the legacy data unit, data sharing setup, data share and data unit meant very, very, very specific things.
Or even data share product.
Yes.
Totally different kind of meaning. Yeah.
So quite often when we as DevOps engineers need to tackle this kind of problems, the miscommunication can happen and happened. So fortunately, the service management is really helping us with that, translating basically the need of the users to our terms. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And one more question here. If I feel or if I see that the product I'm working for or the project I'm working in may need some Apex help, support, what is the first step I need to take?
You can always reach Apex Service Management team via email, or you can reach us via Ask Anything channel. But you can also create a general service ticket with what's on your mind, and then we can respond in this kind of manner as well.
Okay.
How do you see the future of data products and the role of Apex in RBI?
Only growing, I would say. I think it's not even if it's decided to some degree that Apex will become the main platform for data engineering and in general in the whole RBI group, even in general in the RBI group, I would say. At least for now, we are expecting only the growth of the platform. How it will look in 3-4 years, we don't know, but in the horizon of 1 to, I would say even 3 years, only the increase would be expected.
Yeah, I would fully agree. Steady growth, and that means more users, more requests, more projects, and more data on the platform, and different kind of use cases, right? So I think, and because of it will be one core platform for BI, I think, like I mentioned before, because everything is in one place, the possibilities of generating value could be endless, because data is growing and different kind of areas are moving in. So the case is what you really want to use it for, and either whether it's possible And if it's not possible, then maybe we should make it so it is possible. The question is, and then we can move forward, yes.
Bright future.
I would say so. And bright and
Active.
active, for sure.
Okay, so what is the greatest advantage of migrating to Apex?
I think that one of the key things is that instead of dealing with a lot of coordination on basically organizational part, for example, you don't need to coordinate multiple security sides, networking side, or how to connect multiple things, multiple areas, data source and the platform. You can basically have everything in one place. And second thing is quick data access, discoverability of the data, but also cost reduction, right? You only pay for one infrastructure, for one area, you're not paying for multiple areas of, let's say.
Unification of platform makes accounting much easier, basically, because you have one source of the costs, the platform, and you don't need to consider multiple tools that can be used sparingly. For example, you have just, of course, Apex as a tool, as the whole package.
Also, I would say that ownership, right? You are the owner in this case, right? Because you have the data, and only thing you need to do is to gather our information, which is also available on Apex. So it's easier, it's simpler, and the bureaucracy is cut down to minimum. And because of this, you can really deployment of the project and reaching the end goal is achievable in really quick manner. And knowing where the data is and who is responsible for the data, I think here is really simple, right? We know we have everything in one place, so it's really easy to identify who is the stakeholder of the data. Sometimes if the data is missing something, so can also another way is to figure out, like I mentioned before, lineage, so data identification, where is it coming from, where is it going, and everything. Because of this feature that is available on Apex, data teams or project teams which are trying to get the data product, they can quickly get this verified, analyzed, and basically move forward. Yeah.
Yeah, this lineage thing is actually a pretty good point, because with the Unity catalog deployment, right, it allows for pretty detailed lineage of data, which means we basically know the source of the data or how it was processed, the whole history of the data from switch.
Yes.
And so on. So yeah, it's kind of makes the single source of truth available, to be honest.
Basically, for those who maybe a word lineage might be hard to visualize, you see the view of, or like a graph, that you can see the left side and the right side, where from the left where data is coming from, which kind of data source, database or table, or even the record, and how it's flowing, where it's being processed, where is it later on, where is it going to. And then you can quickly identify in which area maybe the data was missing, some records are missing. And in the end, on the right side, the outcome is that you have holes in your data, in your reports, or you have holes in any kind of data systems. And because of this, you can go back, like almost step by step, you can identify in which area something happened or something is missing, and the key stakeholder needs to be engaged and react and do something about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So to wrap this up, I understand that using Apex platform is beneficial for technical perspective, but also the business one.
Yes, I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, it's beneficial, and I think
it creates coherence within the organization, I would say, to some degree. Because when everyone speaks the same language, the language of the same platform, it's just much easier to cooperate also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Everybody is using the same tools. Everybody is using the same kind of environments. So everybody's on the same page. and we can quickly cooperate and exchange information. And because of this, data is flowing easier, faster, and the end goal would be achieved quicker, right? Even if there are some, let's say, the road is bumpy, we can smooth it out a bit and get things rolling. And in the end, the project achieves their goal, right? Because they have some kind of, everybody wants to provide some kind of value, and Apex enables this.
Good news.
Jacek, Robert, we've got a mix of myths and hits about the products. After we reach one, tell us first whether you think it's a hit or myth, and then explain why. Is Apex a platform created to solve specific problems within the RBI Group?
Not really, because I think it's the platform that I would say it's a one platform to rule them all, to unify all, and to provide accessibility to all the data in cross RBI. So I think this is the main value of the platform. Easy to access, easy to work with. And from this, I think the richness comes out.
Yes, exactly. I would totally agree. It's not that it doesn't solve any problems. It's not the specific problem. It's a very general problem. So yeah.
Does governance slow down delivery?
Yes, by design. Yes, of course, without any governance, we could deliver much faster. But the question is what it would be. So we need some slowing down through the governance to some degree to deliver anything of value.
I think it provides better quality, right? If you stop a bit and verify, then you're aware what you have instead of just going blindly.
Are onboarding and provisioning automated on the Apex platform?
At the moment, onboarding process for Apex is semi-automated, and in the future, the goal is to have self-service. And small steps are taken towards that goal, but provisioning is done on our side, service manager side, of course, with support of the colleagues from DevOps side.
Does every team want self-service until problems arise?
I would say kind of. Yes, of course, the self-service is the target here. Everyone wants it. But finally, having some governance or responsibility over something can be stress-inducing. So it really depends. But it's becoming a more mature platform. So
totally agree.
Are data products just a new name for the data lake?
No, I wouldn't say so, because Apex actually is not a data lake. I think Robert could agree as well here. Like I mentioned, it's quite big, let's say, aggregate of multiple things, which one is data. And data product, many will mistake it's a database. It's not. It could be multiple databases. It could be multiple things. And in general, I would say that key generating value. Either it can be the value or the outcome, right? Because data product can be additional information for creating a different data product or just be a part of a different data product. So it could be multiple things, and our platform is basically a huge aggregate of information, but also of functionalities, because I would say like the Swiss Army knife, you can do a lot of things with Apex.
Does service management act as a user guide on onboarding to problem resolution?
Yes, basically service manager on Apex, we provide help, we provide guidance, how to get on the platform, what are the first steps, what is the getting familiarized, and also trainings. We basically advise in each, let's say, step what needs to be done and how it should be done. And afterwards, of course, once our future users are familiarized and trained, because we have trainings, we have trainers, we have Databricks Academy, as well other online trainings, but also as well as physical. And after that, we onboard our users. It's a process. And about one thing to mention, they can also have an environment to play around before. even if they are not sure, maybe some could be a bit of, let's say, nervous. Is this the right way? And we provide them a bit of assurance that APEX is the way.
Yeah, the service management guys are really on the front line, I would say. So they are at least touching the onboarding of the users. Without them, it would be not possible, I would say, at the moment.
Those APEX support automation and standardization in data products development.
To some degree, yes, because we are providing some skeleton of the data structures, I would say, with the data shares, data units, with the how it works on the Unity catalog and so on. But in general, it really depends on the actual creator of the data product. We are not limiting. We are providing Lego bricks, they are building with it. So to some degree, yes, but it's not really tight bound.
Yeah, basically infrastructure-wise, right now because it's cloud, it's not really physical, but we give them the baseline, and they decide what they can create on it. And if they are very, let's say, aware what they need, then it's really simple to get it up and running. So I would say it's more on their side than ours.
Is communication between teams the biggest challenge when working with data products?
I would say this one is a bit of, let's say, on my side. I think without communication, nothing will go forward, especially where there is a lot of uncertainties, because out of the gate, not everybody knows everything, and especially on either it's on security side or compliance side, business side, as well as, let's say, agreement, any kind of governance side. So as I just mentioned, there's a lot of cogwheels moving, and to get them running, you need to really bring them all together, figure out what needs to be done, and then try to slowly push it forward. So I would say communication is king here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those and AI-ready organizations start with well-organized data products.
Yes, of course. Trash in, trash out. Yeah, you cannot really create anything of value without proper data products that are really working well for the consumer, and I would say sometimes it's even product needs to work even for the producent of the data product, but it really depends. But yeah, without really good data, you cannot create good solutions. So yeah,
quality I think is key here. Data needs to be certain quality to generate value.
Is collaboration between service management and engineering crucial for APEX development?
Absolutely. To be honest, yeah, it's really crucial. I would say that it evolved through the time, through the development of the platform. And insights from the SM team are actually really, really useful from the perspective of the DevOps or the builder of the platform, however we would like to call that position. The biggest problem sometimes is that we are, of course, delivering new features and so on, but what is actually required for the managing of that, or what is actually the most crucial things from the user perspective, is usually delivered only through the SM team, because they are actually dealing with the problems that, or the issues or the needs of the users of the platform. And sometimes really trivial small things can deliver kind of a big value to the end user. So from the engineer perspective, that is really creating the platform, sometimes it's not visible because we are looking at the platform through the technical lenses quite often. But thanks to the cooperation with the SM team, we really have much wider, much more user-oriented view.
Should the data platform be practically invisible to the end user?
And I think we're coming back to the question that was before. I think maybe from the user point of view, they think it should be, but from my perspective as a service manager, I think if you have a better awareness what you're using, basically what kind of tool you're using, what is this tool meant for, and how it works underneath, it's I think it's easier to achieve your goal, because even if this was transparent and something, let's say, goes on or breaks, then basically you're stuck, and there's nothing you can do. But if you have the awareness and you know how this tool was designed, at least some basis, then you can figure it out at least on your own, or at least you can do your own analysis and provide this feedback to somebody who will fix it for you. So I think, transparency is nice, but I wouldn't say it's not best for efficiency.
Yeah, there's always a trade-off, right? Because from my perspective, it's the target of the platform to be basically as invisible as possible. But it's always a trade-off, because if we hide the most crucial parts behind some abstraction, for the user, it's really convenient. But for the SM team, for example, it's not that convenient, because instead of looking at some error or some technical difficulties and trying to solve or at least analyze it by yourself as a user, the one thing that you can do in that situation is to basically create a ticket. And then all of the wave of the debugging, of the checking and understanding of the platform is shifted to us in general. But I would say, this is unfortunate, but this is kind of what we are aiming for.
I'll also add that it's impossible to have something that will never break. So I think that's why the full transparency or invisibility of the platform, from my perspective, is not the best.
Does decentralizing data ownership accelerate the development of data products?
I would say in general, yes, but the trade-off of that is that you need kind of mature team to be self-governing and to be responsible for the self-service. Because we are giving them platform for self-service and we are expecting them to be reasonable about the usage of that. Because otherwise, actually kind of related to the previous questions, it's all shifted to us in that situation. So this is what we are aiming for, to move as much as possible to the self-service. We are building at the moment actually the self-service platforms to allow the teams to manage all of that by themselves. It's still work in progress. Progress is quite good, but we will see what the future will show us in that regard.
Does the service management also handle escalation and troubleshooting?
Yes, of course. We are in the front line of Apex, and any kind of issue or request, we are the ones that react to it, and we engage and try to solve it as soon as possible. And of course, we can be escalated, or we escalate many times the issues, because first we need to figure out what is the issue about. If it's sometimes whether it is an issue, because we have some false positives sometimes, but also we need to figure out where the issue originated, and then it sometimes can be totally outside of our scope or responsibilities, because sometimes, truthfully, it's not on our side, and then we need to find proper colleagues, proper team to coordinate for achieving the solution.
Does Apex contribute to faster delivery of data products?
I would love to believe yes, and this is what I believe actually. Of course, onboarding takes some time and understanding the platform, especially at the beginning when the teams were moving from the legacy data lake and workspace solution to the wording, to the ideas that are encapsulated within the Apex platform. It was slightly time consuming, but in general, I really believe that Apex as it is really contributing to the faster delivery. We have now compute and data on the same platform. We are delivering that data in the safe manner. We are basically taking off kind of the load from the shoulders of from the big data developers that with the workflow and data lake solution they needed to take care by themselves. And the great opportunity within the Apex, I would say, is the possibility of much easier data discoverability. Because now, especially with the latest releases, we have Unity Catalog, which step by step would allow us to give the end users ability to discover the data, on top of which they could provide new data products. Because sometimes the creating of the new idea starts with checking what is actually available. You need that Legos to know what you can build, right? So this is the similar situation, I would say. You need to understand your building blocks before the idea of what you can create appears.
Mm-hmm.
Jacek, Robert, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In the next episode, we will talk about AI, and the premiere is in August.
I invite you to subscribe and hear you soon. This episode was prepared by our podcast team. As hosts,
Ewa Kołnier
and Tomasz Przewłocki. As episode coordinators, Klaudia Bednarczyk and Monika Nowak.
Directors,